ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, and we are going to read commentary on verse 24 by Sridhar Swami. So we have read the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti on 24th to 28th, where Mother Devaki is praying to Krishna, primarily asking him to unmanifest his 400 form and become a small baby, because she was worried that Kamsa will come and kill him. So it is a what you call schizophrenic feeling or ambivalent feeling, that on one side she is praying him to be the supreme person whom the Kal also fears, who is beyond time, beyond everything, and anyone who takes shelter of his feet becomes fearless. At the same time, she is worried about his life. So this is the mixed feeling of Aishwarya and Madhuri. So where is Vilas in his request to read the commentary of Sridhar Swami? So this verse number 24 is quite philosophical. Vishwanath Chakravarti did not get into that, but every word here seems to relate with a different school of philosophy. Rupam yattat prahur avyaktam adyam brahma jyoti nirgunam nirvikaram satta matram nirvishesham niriham satvam sakshad vishnu adhyatma dev. So the main thing is that Satvam Sakshad Vishnu Adhyatma Deepa. You are directly Vishnu, who is the illuminating lamp, brings consciousness to everything. And this Rupa, this form, she is speaking about the very form which she is seeing in front of him. So he says this different people, prahu means they say. So from that I think he takes the clue that different scholars speak of this form in different ways. Some call it avyakta, some call it Brahma, Jyoti, Nirgun and so on. So that's how he comments. So tvai bhaya shanka eva tavan nasti iti shloka chatushtayen aha Devaki. So Devaki speaks in these 4 slokas which we already read that you have no possibility of any fear from anybody. Kinchid vigyapetum rupamiti. So to say this or to make it known, she speaks these 4 slokas beginning with yattat. Rupamiti. Yattat kimapi rupam vastu prahur veda. So this rupa, this form, so rupa form is called rupa in Sanskrit because this is what describes something. Rupyate, nirupyate. Nirupana means to describe. So rupa is that which describes somebody, right? When you describe someone, what you call Swarup Lakshana. And then you speak of the form. So therefore this form is described in the Vedas. Yattat, whatever is it, kimapi rupam, vastu. What is this vastu? So vasti iti vastu, this real stuff. So kim tad vastu, what is this vastu? Means what is the reality of this form. So that she says avyaktam, that it is called avyakta. So vyakta means that which is not vyakta. Vyakta is that which is perceivable to us. That's what we call as vyakta. From this we have the word vyakti. Vyakti means individual. Vyakti, although in Hindi it is used only for human beings, but in Sanskrit it means any individual object is called vyakti. So atra hetu, why are you avyakta? He says because you are the adyam, means you are the cause. So karya is that which is manifest and cause is that something is unmanifest, right? When something becomes manifest, you create, that is the vyakta. Before that it was avyakta, right? That's what Satkaryavad says, that when karya, the effect is remaining unmanifest, that's what cause is, and when cause becomes manifest, that's what the effect is. So avyakta, therefore it says that you are avyakta because you are adyam. Adyam means that which is before anyone else, means the cause, karana. So then question is raised that they say that everything is coming from Paramanu. And what is the cause of everything? Atoms. Atom is again loose translation. Parmanu means which is indivisible. The matter, when you cannot divide it further, it is called Parmanu. So you mean to say I am Parmanu? Because all these objects which you see around you, they are made from atoms. So if I am the original cause, I must be atoms. That's what Nyaya says, Vaisheshika. So Kim Paramanavaha? So then she says no. The next word it says is Brahma. Paramanus are small and Brahma means Brihat. You are great, big, all pervading. So Kim Pradhanam? So Brahma also means not that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, but Pradhana is also called Brahma. Right? Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma. Tasmin Garbham Dadhamyaham. So Krishna says that this Pradhana is also Brahma. Because Brahma means big. So Pradhan is also big. So then says that, do you mean to say that I am Pradhan? So he is going from one school to another school. So Parmanu is Vaisheshika, Pradhan is Sankhya. So then says no, the next word is Jyoti, you are Chetana. So Jyoti here means conscious. Pradhan is unconscious. So you are not that. So then, Kim Vaisheshikanam Gyan Gunam? So okay, I am not Pradhan, I am not Parmanu. Then is it that I am the Atma of Vaisheshikas? Because Vaisheshikas say that Ishvara created. Right? He is the creator. So am I Ishvara? But there Ishvara is Gyan Gunak. That its consciousness is its attribute. It is not conscious itself. Right? In Nyaya, in Tark Sangra we studied that Atma is not conscious by nature. It is conscious only when there is Gyan. So that means only when mind is there, because Gyan comes through mind. Right? Indriyat Sannikarshanyam Gyanam. Pratyaksham. So do you mean to say I am that Ishvara who is actually Gyan Guna? Or I am that Atma? So Kim Vaisheshikanam eva Gyan Gunam? So he says no, you are Nirguna. Because that Ishvara has Gyan as Guna. Gyan Gunakam. But you are Nirguna, that is the next word, Nirgunam. So Vyaktam, Adyam, Brahma, Jyoti, Nirgunam. So then Kim Mimansaka Namiva Gyan Parinami? So okay, if you are Nirguna, then is it that the Gyan is manifest from you? Gyan is your Parinam as per the Mimansaka Prabhakaras. So he says, no, you are Nirvikara, you do not undergo any transformation, so Nirvikaram. So then says Kim Puskarakshadanyam Adinam Iva Shakti Vikshep Parinam. So this is another school of Vedanta. We say that ultimate reality is Brahman, but that Brahman has Shakti and that Shakti manifests. So their philosophy is Bheda Bhed. So am I that? So he says no, because after that says Satta Matram, that you are pure Satta. So then satta comes in Nyaya also. Tarhi kim samanyam. So in Tark Sangra we studied there are 7 padarthas. Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Visesh, Samvaya. So this Samanya is of 2 types. Param, Aparam, Chaiti. Remember? Samanyam, Divedham. Param, Aparam. 2 types. There is Parasamanyam, Aparasamanyam. So Parasamanyam is the Satta which exists in Dravya, Guna and Karma. So Dravya has Satta, Guna have Satta, Karma also has Satta. But others, they don't have Satta directly. Samanya, Vishesh, Samvaya, they don't have direct Satta. Their Satta is because they are in the Dravya and Dravya has Satta. So he says that you are Satta Matra. So are you talking about that Satta? Which is the Samanya, Parasamanya. So he says no.
Does Satta mean like just existence or?
Yes. Naste vidyate bhava na bhava vidyate sata. So there is 2 words in Nyaya they use. One is Satta and one is Bhava. From dictionary meaning they both mean same. There is no difference in meaning. Satta means existence. Bhava also means Bhu Sattayam. The root Bhu itself means Satta. Bhavati. So Asti, Bhavati and Vidyate. These are 3 roots in Sanskrit which they all mean Satta. To exist. Right? Vidyate. Savidyate, he exists. Sa Asti. As Dhatu. Satta comes from As. As Bhuvi. When they give the meaning of As Dhatu, they say Bhuvi. That As means Bhu. When they give the meaning to Bhu, they say Satta. Right? Bhu Sattayam As Bhuvi. And with Sattayam. So with As Bhu they all mean same, but still philosophically they have some difference in Nyaya. In general Sanskrit they are used interchangeably. In dictionary you will not find any difference. So bhava is that which is not. Satta is something which you directly perceive. Like the table is there. But do you perceive the Samanya also like that, or Vishesh or Samvaya? Not like that. So Satta is something which you see. Guna, there is some qualities there in something you can taste. You can say this is sweet. But Samanya, Vishesh, Samvaya you cannot taste like that. So Dravya, Guna and Karma action also you can see happening. So these 3 have, therefore they are the one which have direct Satta. What they have is called Satta. And then the Satta overflows into other things. Therefore Samanya, Vishesha, Samvaya, these are things which have been imagined by philosophers to explain things. These are not something which we actually can know. Dravya, Guna and Karma, even some non-philosopher guy can say yes, the table is there, but if you say, well, there is jati in it, so he will say, what jati? Or Samanya, or Vishesha, or Samvaya. So those are accepted for explanation of things. So those are basically some imaginary entities. Therefore some people believe in them, some don't believe them. Right? Sankhya does not say that Guna or Yoga or even Vedanta that Guna is existing in Dravya by Samvaya Sambandha. Right? They don't say that. We studied that in Vedanta Paribhasha. Right? They said there will be anavastha. They said if there is a samvaya, then samvaya is in both, then by what relation is it? So then they'll say it is by Swarupa, and then by what relation the Swarupa is there, then they'll say Swarupa is Swarupa, then what do you mean Swarupa is Swarupa? So they don't accept. They say Tadatmya. They bring another word. What is Tadatmya? Bhed Sahishnu, Abhed. So how it can be Abhed if it is Bheda? So there's another, they bring another term. So they all have problem, actually speaking. That's why Jiva Goswami brings the term Achintya. People say he's not a philosopher, but actually all other philosophers, they are trying to explain by taking some term. Just like in mathematics we have iota, right? Square root of -1. And then what is this iota? It's an imaginary number. It has been assumed to explain things. Factually, where is it? Cannot conceive of it. Right? Can you conceive of square root of -1? It's inconceivable. But it's accepted. So Jiva Goswami is straightforward. He says Achintya, because that's what Shastra says. Achintya Gun Shakti. So, Atarkya Sahasra Shakti. That's the word used in Bhagavatam. Atarkya means Achintya. So he has Shakti which are Achintya. Means you can't pin them down, whether it is a quality or it is a Dravya. Do they have a relation? Is it one or different? So that's why in the spiritual world, Shakti also has a form, so it is also Dravya. Right? We say Radharani is Laduni Shakti. So is she Shakti or is she a person? Which one is it? It's both. So this is the meaning of Achintya. But then it doesn't sound philosophical. So you say Tadatmya Sambandha. What is Tadatmya? Don't ask. Then they will say Bhed Sahishnu Abhed. Let's say indifferent, non-difference which tolerate difference. So what is that? So we don't want to say inconceivable. So Nyaya is more straightforward. It says Samvaya Sambandha. At least they have a different thing. So Tarhi Kim Samanyam. So is it Samanya then? So he says no, it is not Samanya. Why? Because it is Nirvishesha. Because if it is Samanya, then it will have Vishesha in it. Right? So he says Nirvishesham. Tarhi Kim Karnatvat Satkriya. So then they say, okay, let's drop everything, let's come back to the original. He said that he is the Karana. Right? He says Avyaktam Adyam. Adyam he said is Karanam. So if it is Karana, then he must have Satkriya. Right? Satkriyavad means it has existence and it becomes Karana, becomes Karya. So therefore he says Tarhi Kim Karnatvat Satkriyam. So then he says Non-Niriham. So Iha means Cheshta. So it does not have any Cheshta, any movement, any action.
Point before, the Nirvishesha. So you mentioned that every Samanya, did I understand correct, that every Samanya has some Vishesha?
No, if Samanya is there.
Yes, that the Samanya means that it is distinguished from everything else which is not that samanya, and therefore it has some.
So therefore it
Lakshana.
cannot be nirvishesha. If samanya is there, then vishesha is there.
I think.
Because there cannot be samanya without vishesha. Na nirvishesham samanyam. Right? Something has samanya, will be having visheshas. Vishesha means something which is differentiating, like visheshana. What is a visheshana? Which distinguishes it from something else. That's why it is called qualifier. So if it is qualifying, means it is making it distinct from something else. That's the meaning of qualifier. So if it has samanya, then it will also have vishesha. So he says, but it is nirvishesha. And with all this, he says, that is you. So now, this is the problem. That you are avyakta, your adya, your brahm, your jyoti, nirgun, nirvikar, satta matra, nirvishesh, nirihe, all this, and satvam sakshad vishnu adhyatmamdita. And all that is you, directly Vishnu. Sakshat means that you are not some imposition on something. You are real. Sakshat means you are perceivable. Aparoksha anubhuti. Directly perceivable. That is the meaning of sakshat. We can have sakshatkar. So it is not something, the Brahman of Advaitvad. Or Shunya of Buddhism. So sa tvam sakshad Vishnu. And you are Adhyatmani. So sannidhi matrena karanam evam bhutam kimapi karya kalpyam yad vastu saeva sakshat. So now the question comes that if you are cause of everything and then you don't undergo any transformation, no satkriyam, so how can you be cause? So then he explains that sannidhi matrena karanam. That you are cause just by being in proximity. Like a magnet. So magnet can make a movement in iron without it moving or changing or going under any transformation or coming in contact, just by its closeness. Right? So like that you are not undergoing any transformation, but being next to Pradhana, you make it. That's why later on she calls him as Avyakt Bandhu. Te Avyakt Bandhu Cheshta Mahu Cheshtate Yenevish. So Avyakta there was translated as Prakriti and Bandhu as Pravartaka. So you are the Pravartaka, right? Prayojaka. So there are causes which are directly the causes. And there are causes which are not directly the cause in the sense that they don't do it themselves, but they inspire someone else to do it. Like Prayojaka. Prayojaka is also a cause. When you say Prayojak Karta, right? Instigating agent. So that instigating agent is also a cause. But he is not doing anything. He makes the other person do, the Prayojya Karta. The action is being performed by Prayojya Karta, the inspired agent, but is being inspired by Prayojaka. So both are causes. Any agent is a cause of action. Action Kriya happens because of the agent. Others are only assisting. Right? The Karana, etc., the Adhikarana. They are only assisting agents. So that's why they are called Karakas. The meaning of the word Karta and meaning of word Karaka is same. Karoti iti Karaka. Naval Pratyaya. And Karta is Trim. But still there is a difference. Karta is the direct agent, Karakas are. Karta is also Karaka, but other Karakas are not directly. They assist the agent.
What is the meaning of Pravartaka?
One who inspires.
Yeah, but I was thinking that Prayojaka
Yeah, there can be two words for the same.
is the same then.
Prayojaka means one who engages the other. Pravartaka also means vritti. Pravritti means action. Puts another into action. Pravartayati iti pravartaka, prayojayati iti prayojaka. So, sannidhi matrena karanam evam bhutam kimapi karya kalpyam yad vastu. So that vastu which by its proximity makes things happen, that is you. Saeva sakshatvam Vishnurati. That is you directly, Vishnu. Na kevalam karya kalpyatvam aprokshascha itya. And not only that, you are understood from the karya. Karya kalpya means like known from the karya, janmadashriyataha. Right? So what is janmadashriyata saying? It's talking about that there is somebody from which it has come. Right? This is the tatastha lakshana. So tatastha lakshana means by seeing that tatastha object, or that which is the tatastha lakshana, you make an anuman that if there is a painting, then there must be a painter. Right? Painting does not happen by itself. So if there is a jagat, there is a creation, there must be a creator. So this is the anuman. So this is called karya kalpyam. So by seeing the karya, you make kalpana of the karta. But then you will say, oh, so this karta is only to be understood by anuman. Right? You cannot see him. Because what you infer, that you don't perceive directly. Right? If you make an inference of fire on the mountain by seeing the smoke, you don't see the fire. So therefore he says, no, it's not like this. He says, na kevalam karya kalpyatvam aparokshascha. So generally the principle is that what you infer, that you don't see, you don't perceive it. You don't have prataksha of this. But here he says that it is karya kalpya, but it's also perceivable. So aparoksha. And therefore she says, Satvam Sakshat Vishnu Adhyatma Deepa. So Adhyatma Deepa means that you can also be realized directly. So Adhyatma Deepam iti Buddhyadi Karana Sanghata Prakashaka ityartha. So you are the illuminator of all the senses beginning from buddhi, etc. All this karana sanghata, the group of senses, buddhi, manas, chitta, etc. It is all illumined by you, which means that through them he can be perceived. So that's why he is called Adhyatmanik. So this is the explanation of this verse. Then he gives an alternative one, which is what we have seen, like the way Vishwanath Chakravarti does. So he gives two explanations.
This all these senses having their like being energized. He said that about the soul, and soul is also that same thing like a magnet, and like you had explained earlier, and the magnet is moving the iron fittings without touching them. So the soul is also like that. Now all this explanation is for the Lord, like Vishnu or Krishna. So I'm getting a little confused, like how to make this connect between soul and Bhagavan.
Yeah, but soul is part of Bhagavan. Soul does not have independent energy. It's just one step. Just like you have the main source of electricity, and then from there the power comes, and then you may have an intermediary place from where the whole city is supplied. Right? But that intermediary place is not independent of the original source. If you cut from that, then it cannot supply. So the soul is not independently conscious. That's why it is called Shakti or Tatastha Shakti of Bhagavan. So the Shakti of the soul is coming from Paramatma, and then soul is giving Shakti to this body, senses, etc. Anything else? Okay.
This last sentence, Buddhiyadi Karana Sangata Prakashaka, does that mean that he is the illuminator of those faculties, or that through those faculties one can have perception of him?
No, he is the Prakashaka. Otherwise it will be called Prakashya. Means he is the illuminator. Buddhiyadi Karana Sanghata Prakashaka, illuminator.
Okay. So then after all this analysis in the verse, the final point comes according to this tika that we can, quote, recognize or experience the existence of Vishnu by considering that the functioning of our own buddhi, etc., is his grace upon us, or made possible only by him?
That is one way, that is only inference. But through them he can also illuminate himself. He illuminates the senses, etc. And then through them you can perceive him.
But is that being said here, or is that an additional way
No,
of...
that's not said here, but
Okay,
it is.
that's how we could go further with it. Okay.
Because he already said this, that aprakshascha ityaha. So he didn't say it, but it is understood. Because this buddhi, etc., they are meant for perceiving. So he illuminates that, and through them then you can perceive him. It's not directly stated here, but that's the sense here. That he is the illuminator of the internal senses, and then these internal senses can make us perceive him. They do not have the power to perceive him by themselves.
Babaji Maharaj, is that Vaidisha Pratiksha?
Yes.
Is that Vaidisha?
Yes, that is Vaidusha Prataksha. Okay. So now we come to verse number 29. So now Devaki Devi is continuing to speak to Sri Krishna. Janmate mayasau papo ma vidyan madhusudana samudvijay bhavadheto kamsadaham adhiradhihi. So now she makes it very clear what she wants him to do. Till now she did not say it, although she had that intention, at least from the commentary we understood that. But now she explicitly states it. So she says that Madhusudana asau papaha te mai janma ma vidyat. That this sinful Kamsa should not know that you have taken birth from me. So that is the first. And then samudvijay bhavadheto kansadaham adhiradhi. Why is that? Says I who is adhiradhi, that my mind is not stable. I am not dhira. Dhatte dharyate chaiva sadhira udharita. So I am unable to compose my mind, adhiradhi. Why? Because of kamsad heto. Kamsad bhavad heto samadhi. Because of Kamsa. Why is that? Bhavad heto. Because I fear for you. And therefore samudvijay. So I am very agitated. Because I am very troubled that he would come and kill you. And I cannot see that because I have already seen 6 of my newborn babies being killed by him ruthlessly. So that memory is imprinted in my chitta. And by seeing you all those scenes, you can imagine a mother whose 6 babies have been killed right in front of her eyes. It's not an ordinary thing. To kill even one baby in front of the eyes of the mother will be torture for the rest of the life. She will be disturbed. She will have, what is that term they have? That this post-traumatic PSTD. So you will have PSTD, you have to go to therapy for many years to resolve that. And if this has happened 6 times, so you can imagine the situation. So now she doesn't want another scene like that in front of her own eyes. So therefore she is saying that Kamsad heto bhavad heto Kamsad samudvijay. I am completely terrified and disturbed. So we have the commentary here. Bho mataha yadidam rupam antardhapyami tada kamsha agatya garbhaste kvagataha iti गर्भचौर्य अपराधेन त्वम अधिकं ताड़यिष्यति इति चेत् तत्र मम का शंका इति आह. So Krishna is giving his logic why he should stay with 4 hands. So he says that, "O mother, if I unmanifest this form," which basically means that if I disappear, then Kamsa will come, because he will get the news that you have given birth to a child, and then he is going to ask you, where is the baby? And then he is going to trouble you for stealing the baby, because the baby belongs to him. Right? This was the promise which was given by Vasudeva to Kamsa, that as soon as a baby is born, we will give it to you. So this baby is his property, because it is already given in advance before it is born. Right? So sometimes people take loan, farmers, and they say, whatever produce comes, you take that, but give me the money. So even before the produce has come, it is already gone. So he's saying the same, before the child is born, it belongs to you. So therefore he says that garbhacharya aparadhena, that because of the crime of stealing the baby, he will hassle you, tadishyati. So tatra mama ka shanka. So why are you therefore worried about me? So then she says, Janmaiti. So janma me te mai asau papo ma vidyat. So ma vidyat ma janatu, that he should not know. Madhusudana iti. So she is calling him as Madhusudana. So Madhusudana means one who took out the juice of Madhu demon. Right? Sudana means smashing. So she says that you may be Madhusudana, but you are not Kamsa Sudana. So he is more dangerous than Madhu. So Madhu at least means sweet, but Kamsa means violence. Kasi hinsayam dhatu. That's what it means. That his name itself is Kamsa. Violent. So Madhudatyam hatvato mama Kamsavadhe ka prayasa iti. So Krishna says that I am Madhusudana, you are calling me Madhusudana, and I had no problem in killing Madhu. So what is the problem that I will kill Kamsa? There is no effort for that. So then says Ma Manstha, says don't think like this. Tadanin tanat madhorapi idanin tana kamsha koti gunita baladhikaiti bhava. So he says that this Madhusudana was not as powerful as Kamsa is. He is millions of times more powerful than Madhu Datya. So therefore he says, Tadanin tanat madhorapi idanin tana kamsa. That Madhu of that time was not so powerful as Kamsa of the present times. He is million times more powerful. Bhavadayatoriti madapradham prakalpya mattarnam vadhadikam kuryat chet karot. So she says bhavadheto. So this is the important thing. She is not worried about herself. She is not fearing Kamsa because of her own death or her own torture. But she is worried because of Krishna's. So that's why the word is used Bhavadheto, Samudvijay. So that shows her love for her. So it says, Madapradham prakalpya mattadanam vadadhikam kuryat chet karot. So if you disappear and then Kamsa comes to know and he would come and chastise me or beat me up or kill me, let him do that. But I don't want that he comes and troubles you or kills you or you have to fight with him. I don't want to see this. Even if you are able to kill him, I don't want to see this Kamsa coming here in that mood and trying to attack you. I just cannot see that anymore. Because anyone who has PTSD will be like that. They don't want to again see some war scenery. So therefore it says that no mattadanam vadadikam kuryat chet karotu kevalam bhavatah kalyanam ashashayati bhava. So the meaning is that I am only thinking of your welfare. It's not that she has any PTSD or anything like that. But out of love, she is only concerned about Krishna's welfare. And she does not want, it doesn't matter that Kamsa can be killed by Krishna. But she doesn't want to see that he has to even do this. So like when Krishna and Balaram went to Mathura for a wrestling match, at that time Devaki, they were also there. So they were terrified. Because they say, how can they fight these big wrestlers? It's not that Devaki has forgotten that Krishna is Madhusudana and he has killed so many people. He also killed that elephant just outside the gate, Kualeya Peda. But still, could not tolerate this. So this is the motherly affection. Nanu tarhi rupam yattaditi anena nashte lokayati anena yo ayam iti anena martya mritu vyala iti anena mad aishwarya vrithaeva kimavadi. So he said, then why you have unnecessarily praised me in these 4 slokas, that you are Vishnu, Adhyatma Deepa, Nirguna, Nirvikara and all this, and Nashte Loke Dviparardhavasani, Ma Bhutesu Adibhutam Gatesu, that you are Shesha, when everything is destroyed, only you remain, and this Kal is your Cheshta, and Marto Mirtivala Bhute Palayam, Sarvan Lokan, Nirbhimnadhya Gachat. So why did you pray in all these things if you are fearing so much for me? On one side you are saying that I have no fear from anything, nobody can kill me, and then you fear for me. So this does not make sense. You are confusing me. At least Yashoda was not confusing Krishna like that. She was only one side. You are not God, nothing like that. You are my child. But on one side you are praising me as Vishnu Adhyatma Deepa and Shresh Rangya and Kshem Dhama, all these names, Avyakt Bandhu. And then you are saying that you fear for me. So then she answers that. So she says, Satyam says that yes, it is true what you are saying. I did praise you. Bhavan Mata Ham Evam Adhira Buddhireva. So why is this? Says because I am your mother and I cannot help it. It's not within my capacity to forget that I am your mother and you are my baby and you are just Vishnu and you will kill Kamsa, no problem, and I can just stand here and smile. He says, that's not possible for me. So I am very disturbed. So Ma Khidyasva. So he says, please do not feel bad. Mameva doshoyam. It is only my fault. I am not doubting you that you will not be able to kill Kamsa or anything like this. But it's just that I am your mother and you are my child. So nirmanchanam te yami. So I sacrifice myself to you. Nirmanchanam. Matri vatsalyena api rupamidam upsangharayati bha. So he says, out of Matri vatsalya, affection for the mother, so you please close this form. This is the meaning of this verse. So we'll stop here. Anybody has any question?
Mamaji, just one small question I had. Matri Vatsalya, when she's saying for Krishna, and you are having this affection for me as a mother, or she is saying about her affection for Krishna?
You tell me.
It looks like she is saying about her affection for Krishna.
She is saying that I am your mother, and because of your love for me, do it for me. Anyway, you can say it both ways, because it is there both ways. Depends how you take the samas. Yes.
I would have a question regarding the language here of the commentary. So in the verse he says aso papo, and then in the commentary he refers to him, to this Kamsa as ayam Kamsa, and I thought, just as a rule of thumb, what I've understood is that generally there's always a correspondence in gender number case between the words in the Tiga and the Mula in order to recognize what is explaining what. And here he's changing the pronoun. Is this, is it natural here, or is it common, or is it strange?
Yeah, because Kamsa is not physically present there. Unless he's saying aso.
Which means that he's far away.
Yeah, he's not there.
And then in the
So
comment,
therefore he's commenting on that. Aso would mean he's personally, physically there.
okay. So my question then is it then uncommon that then in the commentary Shri Vishwanath then uses ayam? Is it uncommon that Vishwanath uses ayam then in the commentary?
Uncommon means what?
That he refers now to this.
Commentary, what is the
comes
purpose
in.
of commentary? Is to explain the verse.
Yes.
So if he says asav, asav means here. But he's not here, so he's explaining that. Asav adasastu sannikrishtam.
I think idam. Isn't idam sannikrishta and asav
Idam tu sannikrishtam.
viprakrishta?
Samiptarvarti chayatadorupam. So asav. Ayam is idam. Okay, so is asav tatparokshe vijaniyat. So asav is adas, right? So adasastu idamastu sannikrishtam. And
others viprakrishta, no? Far away. So, yeah.
so then he's just saying this Krishna, ayam means this. That's all.
Okay, so no special.
Okay, so let's